what were you dealing with, and where would you say you're at now in terms of your health?
Yeah, so I had recurring staph infections in 2018, and I was taking oral antibiotics all the time, and it just completely destroyed my stomach. And nobody could figure out what was wrong with me for like 4 years. So it was just getting worse and worse for like over those 4 years. Eventually, I had to retire because I couldn't like even hold a conversation anymore. I was so nauseous.
Wow.
And then I finally found a doctor who figured out what was wrong with me. I had H. pylori, I had a bacterial imbalance in my stomach, I had a huge, massive fungal overgrowth in my small intestine, and I had mold poisoning from somewhere. So I had 4 different things. I had to treat them all
Jeez.
individually. And now I'm about 75%. But this last, like, ever since right before ADCC, I've been dealing with like pretty severe acid reflux that just developed out of nowhere, which is killing me right now. So it's like a struggle to talk because
Oh.
I have like acid in my throat right now. But other than that, I mean, the nausea is like probably 75% better. I just did a test, stomach test with my doctor. I retested, and all my levels came down from like way up in the red into now they're only in the yellow. So I remember like the one of the, I forget what it was. I think it was myotoxins from mold. Like 0 to 5 was normal, and then 5 to 10 was like moderately high, and then I think like over 10 was high, and mine was like 555.
What?
Like I was like 50 times what I was supposed to be, or like 100 times what I was supposed to be, and I was like way up into the red. But now everything came down and it's in the yellow. So I'm probably with the nausea like 75% better. I can eat meals, I can hold conversations. So now it's just I have another doctor's appointment on Wednesday to figure out what I'm going to do with this acid reflux. I started taking like a new antifungal, an oral antifungal, and he seems to think that it's like a dying off effect of the fungus that's causing the acid. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm just hoping that I can get the acid under control, for this next camp that I have to do.
When you had to retire because of all this, and by the way, are you struggling right now? Do you want to take a break or something?
No, I'm okay. I'll let you know. But
right.
I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm okay for now. We're okay.
Okay, all right, cool. And I won't keep you much longer, but I'm just
No,
wondering,
you're
like,
fine.
when you retired and you're so young. I think you're 27. By the way, we share the same birthday, July 8th. So great stuff
Oh,
there.
nice.
You're 27, right? So
Yeah, 27.
you were still such a young guy when you retired 4 years ago. How tough was that for you to have to give up what was looking like such a promising career at such a young age?
Oh man, it was the worst. So I didn't retire 4 years ago. I retired in 2021.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So I just came back to competition right before ADCC. I was actually not going to compete until I was like 100% better. But I had ADCC. I had this super fight. It was the biggest ADCC ever, and I'm like, man, just fucking like I got to do it. It's actually funny because COVID actually saved this ADCC. If ADCC was in 2021 like it was supposed to be, there's no way I would have been able to compete. That's like like 3 months after I retired, or took a leave of absence. I called it because I was so sick. And yeah, so I was sick since 2018, and then the fungal infection and the bacterial imbalance just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and no one could figure out what it was. And then I was like, okay, well, I went to 6 or 7 of the best stomach doctors in the country, and no one could figure it out. Maybe it's just going to get better eventually. Hopefully, it gets better. And so I was like, if no one can figure it out, I'm just going to deal with it until it gets better, or I can't deal with it anymore. And then we were living in Puerto Rico, and it was like I couldn't even hold the conversation. Like I went on Joe Rogan like the first time, like Joe Rogan Experience, and like I just met Joe at the time. And I was like, man, I can't tell Joe Rogan that I can't do this podcast right now because I'm so nauseous and I can't talk. But I'm just like the whole time, I'm just like, hold it together, hold it together, hold it together. And I have like no recollection of what we even talked about because I was so nauseous the whole time. I was just like, come on, just get through it, man. And then so eventually, not only could I like not train the right way or compete the right way, like I couldn't even hold the conversation. Like I couldn't even talk. I just like couldn't live life at all. And I was like, man, I can't do this. And like when you're an athlete and you're in a camp, like you're not going to take the time to travel to California, to travel to all these different places, to go to a stomach doctor and miss a week of your camp. Like you're just focused on the camp. So I was like, finally, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. Like I'm only going to focus on getting better. I got to find a doctor who can help me. And then I went to this doctor in Los Angeles, Dr. Rabar from LA Integrative Gastroenterology. And he ran a bunch of tests that no one has ran on me before. And everything was like way out of whack. And I told him what my symptoms were, and I was actually diagnosed with gastroparesis. And because I did a stomach emptying test, and I was emptying slowly. But he said, I don't think you have gastroparesis. There's no reason for you to have it. I think that you're just emptying slowly because there's a fungal overgrowth in your intestine, and it's backing everything up and causing you to empty slowly. And so, like, he knew what the problem was right away. And then he did the test, and the test confirmed what he thought. So I got misdiagnosed, and I was getting treated for something I didn't even have.
Oh.
And then he figured it out. And I've been on treatment now for like a year and a half. And he said like another year and a half to 2 years, and I should be back to 100%. So we'll see. I'm healthy enough, at least right now, to compete. So as long as I can do that, then I'm pretty happy.